Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One, coming to you Sunday, June the 19th. The year's 2022. Let's talk trading. Weekly open and gap. As always, these videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine. And we're halfway through the month, so let's remember to always have our risk management in place, and we don't lose more than we're willing to lose on any one particular trade. So halfway through the month and starting the week, we have all but one weekly gap that's filled. Right now, the pound is 25 pips over the open, 9 off the high, and 45 off the low. Let's just take a little look at the monthly here. You can see we're 356 pips below the monthly open, 373 off the high and 310 off the low. And right now we're in the lower wick zone of the previous month. We're putting in the opening range for the week. As you can see, the previous day is an inside bar. For the year, we're 1282 pips below the open on the pound, and we're 310 above the low, and 1504 pips below the high. Well, it looks like we've got a handful or so of inside bars on the daily, and we got some inside bars on the weekly and another handful on the monthly. So there's some inside bar trades out there if you are interested. So far, only one pair over 100 pips on the range high minus low, and we're just a little over 7.5 hours into the trading day. As far as the buy zone goes, there was a signal here long, and then you may have gotten burned unless you scratched that trade. Then there was a signal short, which paid off. Then there was a signal long, which is paying off if you're still in it, but you might want to be out of it because it looks like it hit the 22.50 and bounced. So, but you notice it went into the 2240s, which is the launch pad that I like to talk about. So for this hour, it opened at 48, hit 50, and then pulled back. Last hour, though, it opened at 22.27, ran all the way up to 52. So it went 12 pips through the launch pad. Range is large enough for a rat trade, though I would be careful at this point in the trading day for a reversal because we've only gone 54 pips and the average is way above that. Bambino flex indicator showing trade south. It says price near the pivot, trade south. So that's like that is paying off. Weekly pivot is down at 21.84. So you can see here we've already taken out the daily pivot. As I just mentioned, the weekly pivot 21.84, and the monthly pivot's already been taken out. Though May, April, March this year missed pivots. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with those. In and out of the lower wick zone with the long trigger at 22.12, call it 13. You can see here we also crisscross the weekly open at 22.18. And looking at the ranges here, we noticed last week was a huge, huge candle. So we'll see what happens this week. We might die back down to the 200s. We'll have to wait and see. That's all we can do as traders is wait and see. Very interesting though. We were in 7 hours into the trading day, but notice we've got 20 pips or more often than not on these H1s. So right here at the 2200, that looks like that would have been a nice trade to take to the long side. Would have been a 50 pip trade if you stuck it out. And like I say, we're now on the launch pad, but you can see from H1 down is negative. It's probably not time to look for a long. Might want to let this H1 candle close and see if you can get a launch pad trade. Looking at the lower high, higher low trade, you can see we had a trigger here back at 22.027, call it 22.03, and price hasn't really looked back since then. And then we had a short trigger here at 22.47, which was good for 5 pips or more each time. Even though to be open, I have a really hard time going short in the launch pad because I know it usually, especially when price comes from the bottom and moves up into it, that's when it seems to really like to take off. So if we switch back to an hour, you can see here hitting that launch pad how it launched. Oh, and I guess I should say I kind of got lost on the weekly wrap-up video. I ran out of time. I was getting into that one chart. And that reminds me, there was a few questions out there. Somebody asked me about the Japan indicator. I don't even remember what that indicator does. I have to go look at the code. It was something that somebody else wrote, and I modified it. I put a few bells and whistles, so I'll have to look that one up. And then somebody else wanted me to talk about. Let me think. Can't remember if it was the 3-level ZZ or the sweet spots. Somebody, so we can go over that in a minute. And then somebody else had a question about a MACD histogram indicator. I really don't know what's happened. All I can say is, you can go out to Crestlick.com, download the latest mother load. There's one out there for 2022. I should have all those indicators, the updates. And somebody asked me about, yeah, it was about the sweet spots. That was the question because they didn't have the Walmart lines unless they had the setting set to false. But they said they didn't have the green and the red lines. So if you look here, let's see. Where is that? I think it might, is it show trade lines? False. Nope, that's not it. Oh, that's so many indicators. I have to try and remember. So show trade lines, which should be true. Training wheels, true. Legend, Trend lines. Z lines. Trade line level. Now, maybe it was training wheels? Nope, wasn't the trading wheels. Okay. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong indicator. It's the sweet spot gold indicator, not the 3-level ZZ. Okay. Show buy sell true. We set that to false. Then the Walmart lines go away. So not the 3-level ZZ. We want the sweet spot gold. And so if you don't have this input, then you don't have the latest and greatest. I know some people say I should put version numbers and stuff, and for some indicators I actually did, only because I was passing a few indicators around and we were all working on it. We wanted to make sure we all had the same code. We were running the same code at the same time. But for normal stuff, I don't do that. That's probably a mark against me. I should have, the code should be commented more, and everything should have revisions in there, even if there was an input to show what the revision was. But I didn't do that, so that you can, I'll take responsibility for not having that good code practice in place. It's really something that, you would get yelled at in the real world. Okay, so for June, we are 9.44% below the open. So we've lost that much. Show year-to-date accumulated. 1,815 pips, close to the 2020. Not far off from 2016. So you can see it looks like June has done about what it's supposed to do. We can take a look at the range by month. And you can see 683. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months, 5 Junes out of 20 that were greater than the current range. So we may have seen all the range we're going to see out of June here, looking at the monthly candle. But you never know. Anything's possible. When I take a look left, though, right where we're at, it seems like prices pushed up. So we were here, we pushed through this wick, then or this low, we pushed through this low, we've pushed through this low, and it looks like we're about ready to push through this low. And once again, looking to the left, up until here, actually till here, it's pretty much all green. So we might get a push all the way back. We've got, 2 weeks left in the month? 2 full weeks? No, we have, actually we're in the 3rd full week of the month, and then we've got 4 days next week. So we've got 9 trading days left in the month. So 2/3 of the way through, right? So anyway, fellow traders, It's not what you trade, it's how you trade it.